Back to week 8. Is it week 8? It's like week 4. Season 8, week
Back
4
to
week of Scrims on LOL. This series is going to be between Metabusters and Rift Sharks. I think Metabusters is currently 1-1. Rift Sharks is currently top of the standings at 3-1. Just beating out the people they tied with, Andromeda, in a very close 3-game series. Very
Yeah,
fun
I
series
really
to
enjoyed
watch.
that series.
Yeah.
Put up a stream real quick, just FYI, but that one, that series was really fun to watch. The most impressive thing to me in that series was honestly just the meta read I thought that Rift Sharks had. I thought they picked really strong drafts and then played some hard champions really well.
Yeah, I think Dean on the Azir for the first time was super impressive. Or not the first
Yeah.
time. Dean on the Azir was really good. The Varus flex they used really well was super solid, I think. That champ's really good right now with a lot of lethality builds coming out. So I'm curious to see if they plan on revisiting a pick like that. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited to watch this series. Joey on the side of Metabusters is a really strong jungler. I'm interested to see that matchup between him and Noam because I am a jungle player and I like watching those.
Yeah, I think really all the matchups are going to be pretty exciting this series. I think there's
Yeah.
really good. I don't think it's really tilted too hard in any of the lanes.
Yeah, apparently this is the first time Dean and Tusini are playing versus each other in the mid lane. Uh, my prediction for how this is going to go is that Dean will probably not win into Tusini in lane, but potentially can outscale him. I think Dean tends to favor more of these scaling mid laners rather than the more aggressive in lane play champions. So I'm curious to see how this mid lane matchup will go as well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting. I think really what you just said to me will probably depend a lot on the matchups. I think there's matchups
Oh,
where
we're
either
after
player
streaming.
can get the
Oops.
advantage in lane.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
yeah, going into this, I was thinking about it, and to me, this is a pretty cool matchup mid lane, especially just because I would have rated Tusini as the best mid laner coming into the season for sure.
Uh
I
huh.
thought he played insane last season. He got recognized on the All Pro,
Yeah.
made it, got second place, played so well. He was for sure my pick, and probably still is. But Dean's been playing so well right now that if Dean beats him here, I think you could say Dean's playing like the best mid laner for sure right now.
Yeah, I can see that argument for sure. I think also Taxi on 101 Thieves had a decent performance as well. But definitely, I think the mid lane pool is really close. Kai on Fruitcakes as well has played a lot of good series, so I'm curious to see. Who else?
Yeah,
It's like a very tight mid pool.
yeah, I
And I
think it
think
might be the tightest, at least in the last few seasons,
yeah,
because
because we don't have
I feel like
you
it's usually top.
fisting people
Well,
hand over fist,
but
bro. Like,
that, but also just I feel like there's been two or three. The first season, Heroic was playing insanely well. Last season, Tusini was playing insanely well. There's always other players up there.
yeah.
This just feels like from top to bottom, especially, there's just no weak link at all.
Yeah. It must be definitely a very fun season to watch so far. I'm curious to see how PB and Jacob are gonna match up as well. PB is historically one of our best support players and has been playing pretty well this season, and Jacob is typically more of a Nami player, and I'm curious to see if they've really leveled up in the off season in between the games. I think these two teams have also played like a lot of games together. I've seen Rift Sharks practicing all the fucking time because they're just a bunch of grinders. Noam hates me and doesn't want to play Baldur's Gate with me because he thinks I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm weird. Like it's
He's
just
just
fucked up,
grinding. He's
really.
just grinding.
Yeah, they've been
I
playing a
think I
lot of
think if
games
you're on
together.
that
So
team, you gotta grind, which is awesome, and
yeah, I
it's
do
gonna
love that
pay
for them.
off if
Yeah,
it
it's
hasn't
definitely been
already.
paying off for them. But very excited to watch the series. Yeah, Avery is also historically been one of our best top lane players as well. A lot of champions that he loves playing. Can play both tanks and like more aggressive laners, so I'm curious to see what they're going to go for here.
Yeah, I think Avery, just talking about the teams in general, I think Avery just slots into this roster so well because, as you just kind of stated, he can play both styles as good as anyone in the server. Like, he is that good at both styles, weak, strong, tank, carry. And he's on a team that seems to be able to and want to draft with so much flexibility that he can just fit any comp.
Yeah, it is going to be really fun. I do also want to highlight the bot lane matchup as well. Evan versus Stav. I think Stav has historically also been one of our top 80 carry players. Also a bit of a flex player, but I think we will see him more so in this 80 carry role. And I think Evan has kind of had like a rising star moment where he's always been playing super well. I think last season on MVP laning with Psycho Carrot, he was also like one of their highlight players, a very consistent ADC player, has shown a lot of flexibility. Also on mages, like the wave 80 carry and stuff like that. And I'm curious to see how him and Stav will match up in the spot lane as well. It's gonna be very exciting.
Yeah, one of the things for me, I wasn't able to keep up with the season during the off season quite or the teams as much. So I
Yeah.
was surprised when I got back and saw some of the pairings. You know, I knew Evan and Psycho Carrot were like a really good duo. They did play really well last season, but I was surprised to actually see Evan leave that.
Yeah.
But then when I saw that he was pairing with PB, who, as you said, and who I would agree with, is the best support in the server, it's like taking somebody that was right there at the top and putting them with like an S plus tier player, and now they're just I don't know. It's
They're tearing
exciting
it
to
up in the
see.
bot lane for sure.
It's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We got 4 more minutes till draft, I believe. Yeah, it looks like they just dropped the draft link, so let me throw in the spectator link in here real quick. Oops, hold on.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is I don't remember exactly how much PB played last season, but I don't think he was manning support.
He was
And
playing
so is
top
this the
lane.
first? Yeah, is this the first season in a while at least that we've seen him playing with an ADC, other than
Um,
Alex, wasn't it?
okay, so I think on Andromeda he was playing support with Alex. I think this is his first season playing support with someone that isn't Alex. From the New York Nutbusters lineup and also the Andromeda lineup. I think in the not the Metabusters, the MVP run he had with Julian and Evan. He was mostly playing top lane. Tended to play more weak side top laners, and now he has swapped back to support with Evan in tow, and been sort of tearing it up. It's been about gap like a lot of their series, so I'm really excited to see what they've got cooked up for us in this bot lane.
Yeah, it's the first time seeing him back support. I mean, I thought he had great performances in top, but just from having the few games I've played with him and just from playing against him, he just seems like he just fits the support position with the way in which he like sees angles, finds plays. It's just those champions are so suited to like what I would perceive as his strength, which is just like leading the team in a
Yeah,
lot
he
of the ways.
definitely has had a lot of pop offs on Leona. If you watch his engages on Leona, I think he's been playing that champion super well. Champ's also like really strong, so definitely a lot of credit. I think Rift Strikes has tended to have like a very strong meta read, so I'm curious to see what's gonna happen there. Uh, I think is Metabus. I'm trying to figure out who's going where on this Metabusters roster. I think they have like a lot of flexibility. I think Fujer has been their primary jungler so far, but I think that should go to Joey in this game. Joey has historically been one of our best junglers as well. Tended to play champions like the Kane, the Zac, the Viego a little bit. More of these like bruiser-esque champions or like the engaged tank like Zac. So I'm curious to see what he's gonna bring out for this series as well. He's also played the Lilia a lot recently, and that champion has been pretty gross. So I'm very excited to see him pull it out here. Yeah,
What? Yeah. Oh,
okay,
sorry.
continue. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, why don't we kind of expand on that? Because at least from the last understanding I thought I had of jungle, it was when it was basically all the AP faded ashes. And now some of those champions are still playable, like Lilia,
Yeah.
but what's changed and allowed champions like Sejuani and Amumu and just other champions to Ivern to just rise up and kind of equal that now?
Okay. In my opinion, I think Ivern has always been very close to really good. The items that he really wants are like super strong, like redemption, and like these support items just are super gold efficient on a role like jungle, which is like low econ. You want to be super useful all the time, and like pressing E. And there's also like a bit of meta shifts as well. We've seen a lot more ADCs mid lane. So like even though that's been nerfed recently, like any sort of champion that can get in there and like sort of brawl with other people, like 80 carries or stuff like that, just really benefit from having like a supportive jungler. and I think Iron really fits that bill. Also has like a lot of utility as well. The secret behind a Mumu jungle. So, fun fact: this is just a Faded Ashes champion. Like, no, all stops. It's a tank champion that we can build Faded Ashes. Like, let's not lie to ourselves. This is a Faded Ashes champion. It's super good right now. But
Yep.
it also you build Faded Ashes. Your clear speed's ridiculous because this item is broken. Riot refuses to change it because they think it's healthy for the game. I have no idea what drugs they're on when they say that these kind of things, but like you build Faded Ashes, your clear is super fast, you hit level 6 really quick, and then you try to get in there with the ulti and just fucking fight people. We're also into draft, so I'm going to hop over to that real quick.
Good.
A little late on that. But Rift are expanding out the four or three stop champions in Twitch, Zeri, and Varus, and the bans from Meta Busters is going to be Nyla, Trinamir, and Rel. And Rift Sharks is first picking the Smolder, and Meta Busters has responded with Leona and Lilia.
Yeah. I'll say what stands out to me really quickly about the bans is throwing 3 bans at stop. I mean, I guess you can argue that something like Zeri could also be a mid ban,
Yep.
but that's just crazy to me, especially with just Tusini, as we're kind of saying, is probably the best mid who you'd expect. And
Mhm.
Dean's just saying, I'll play anything into it,
Yeah,
or I'll
I'm
let you play
surprised they
anything.
Rift Strikes has opted for the Varus ban on blue side. I think they use this flex pretty well, and I guess they just decided they don't really want it. Lilia is still a really good jungler on this patch right now. Faded Ashes does sort of compensate for the nerfs that they gave her to her clear speed. Smolder tends to be a really strong ADC. Also is a flexible mid, and the champion I think is really strong right now.
Yep.
And Leona just kind of pairs really well with Lilia. You get the sleeps and stuff, and you're just really strong. I think they also picked the way to like keep their mid flex or like keep it in question where who's going where in mid and bot.
Yep.
And then the Amumu pick that you talked about, this champion is quite good and has been playing it a lot recently. Played it in the last 2 series, got it 2 games in a row, is into Lilia, so should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I really like the draft from Rift Shark so far, but I mean, Blue Side's picking S tier champions, like
Yeah,
great picks.
no slack from the side of Metabusters.
Yeah.
The champion like Leona and Kaisa, this bot lane is pretty fearsome. Leona locks people down, and Kaisa can kind of just ulti in and just fucking click all her buttons and kill people.
Yeah, and I think a champion like Kaisa can fit so well here because of her build flexibility.
Yep,
She can go
absolutely.
something like Zanya's Hourglass third, and if you get a good use of that, you can just completely nullify something like the Amumu Engage or a Hui combo
Yep.
and can just clean up.
Absolutely. And it looks like Metabusters is banning the Nami. I kind of wonder if this is a bit of a cheeky ban because Jacob is our no Nami player and just banning it for a bit of ego might be kind of funny. Rift Shark's opting to ban the Syndra. This champion is quite strong. Kind of just has no bad matchups, and if you let it scale up, it'll just click R on your ADC Smolder and you just fucking die. So I like this ban a
Yep.
lot. And MetaBusters is opting to ban out Avery's Darius. He has been quite fearsome on this champion, so I think this is a very respectful
I
ban.
do believe he's still undefeated in team format on the Darius.
Yeah, this Darius champion is quite good, and I think he has used it very well. And it looks like it's going to be a Talia ban from Sharks here. Champion is kind of good into the Amumu so far, but maybe it's just a safety ban against future picks. So I'm curious to see what is coming
Sa-
next for MetaBusters.
Saving final pick here for mid lane, even though you're probably pretty sure it's one of Hui or Smolder's pretty interesting here.
Yeah.
I want to see if TC can get a really good R5 to kind of explain why you're just going to give them top lane counter pick to Avery.
Yeah, absolutely. Malphite blind is interesting. I feel like there's a lot of ways you can kind of exploit this, and it looks like they are going to opt into the Ornn. This champion is quite strong, I think, into the Malphite. Does a lot of magic damage, so the armor stacking isn't quite as useful, but also just scales so incredibly well. The potential. Oh, okay. They're just
No
hovering
way.
around stuff. Yumi would be kind of funny, and it looks like it is just gonna be the Braum. I think we talked a lot about this in the. I've heard a lot of talk about this, but I think Braum does really well into the Leona. You eat onto
Here,
the Braum.
I think I just want to call it
Go
something
ahead.
like Silas could be such a good R5 here,
Yeah.
potentially, with all the ult steal if you're playing this dive combo. He needs to go something that just wants to go in and fight with what they've already drafted.
Yeah, I would like the Silas, but like it's so hard to pick Silas with so much magic damage on the side of Metabusters. Kaisa tends to index into AP here, and it looks like
Corki is
it's
a
just
very
gonna be the
strong meta pick too.
Corgi.
So. I, yeah.
I'm kind of not a fan of the Corki here. It does kind of fill
Yeah.
this like 80 vacuum that you have, but like I don't know.
It's even though he has Valk, it's so hard to stay alive in these team fights against something like a Mumu, Ornn, Braum. And if he gets caught, there's so much CC. But if he's able to farm up and do consistent safe damage, it could be insane. You have a tank killer in that sense, which they needed to
Yeah.
have a couple.
I think I just have a little issue with how they've drafted it so far because, like, if you're going to pick a champion like Corki, why wouldn't you just give your top laner counter pick into the Ornn, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, Corki is like a fine blind. It's like a decent flex. And like they've already shown their mid and their AD carry probably. So like you could just pick the Corki on R4 here and then just put maybe I've secured a little bit of a better top lane matchup into the Ornn. So like I'm not
Certainly.
entirely sure why they picked it R5, but I guess it's like fine. Who do you think is favored in this draft spot so far?
To me, I'm gonna favor Rift Sharks
Okay.
because I think the simplicity of their draft is a little. I don't know. It's just they farm, they scale, they take team fights around objectives late game. If
Yep.
the game is even or in their favor, I don't think it's winnable. Red side, I do like their draft. I think, like you're saying, it could have been a different order, but they have a clear game plans to just dive in, snowball,
Yep.
force fights, be
Absolutely.
aggressive, and it's winnable. But it's the much harder side to play.
Yeah, I think the Malphite does kind of like give you some more engage options on top of the Leona. Like Kai'Sa can potentially have a field day here if she like gets a good ulti angle inside the team fight. Like, and the Lilia, if she can like dodge a lot of their CC, it's like really easy. But it's like a lot of their CC is like kind of hard to dodge, right? Like you have Ornn ultis coming at you, you have Bandage Toss plus ulti coming at you, you have Hwei slows and utility, and I'm just like, it's a really hard game here for the side of Metabusters, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, we should be getting into games soon. I'm getting a funny message from one of the people in the game, but I will not spoil it for stream. But yeah, super exciting game. We'll have to wait a little bit for the draft, for the spectator delay, but we will
No
have to
worries.
see. I'm gonna go get some water. You yap for a
Go
little bit.
for it. It's pretty interesting. Rift Sharks already played 4 whole series, so now they're already 3-1. Compared to Metabusters only having played half that, just 2 series. Rift Sharks kind of flying through so far. If they win this, they're 4-1. That'd be like their first round robin. That would be really impressive. Metabusters, I just think we're not too sure about their strength yet. 1-1. If they manage to knock off Rift Sharks, who's looking like the strongest team or one of, probably the strongest right now, that would be a really good statement for them. And there's kind of a circle right now because I believe Metabusters' loss was to Andromeda, who is also near the top right now, doing really well, and had just lost to Rift Sharks in the first 3-game series of the season. So this will be a good series, just kind of power rank all the teams, looking kind of as we start to wrap up the first round robin. And Taxi's correct. They actually have already played their full first round robin.
All right, I'm back. I do want to flex on PB a little bit. His ass is still in Diamond 2. I just hit Masters recently. You're garbage, kid. Please get better at the video game before you speak to me. Thank you. Anyways,
There you go. Congrats on that, by the way.
yeah, it was a very fun season to try to hit Diamonds, so. Or Masters, so. There are only 5 teams, so a round robin is 4 games. Our strikes have already played a round robin. I think Fruitcake's up as well, but
Seems like it's flying by.
yeah.
Interesting. This like Metabusters only played 2 so far, but they'll be there pretty quickly after this one. Just need one more.
Yeah.
I thought because last season didn't Fuzier also play support?
Future played a lot of roles. Is he swapped? Hold on.
He's been top lane, I believe, or at least he is this series. And I think I was just pointing. I rate him pretty highly in what I saw from him last season, but I don't really remember him playing a ton of top. So it's
He's
gonna
been
be interesting to
flexed
see him go
around
up
a
against
lot in this
Avery.
Metabusters roster. I think he's played jungle. I think he's playing top of the series. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what exactly is gonna be the line from him here.
Yeah. Do you have a rating? I mean, do you think?
I
I mean,
think he's shown that
yeah.
he's very consistent on all the roles. Like his jungle isn't terrible, his top lane isn't terrible. His support is probably his best role, but like I think having a slightly weaker top side to get a really strong roster like him, Joey, and Tusini and Stav on the same lineup is like kind of worth the little bit of dip in your top lane pool. So
Yeah.
that's just sort of been my read on it so far, at least.
Yeah. I think this is a team that has a ton of potential, regardless of how today goes. They might just come out
Absolutely.
and perform right now, but I think you'd be feeling like by the end of the season, this team would be so at a so high of a level if they're able to just kind of like gel and lock in.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a very high ceiling on this roster. All of these players are really good. I think they've all peaked pretty good in terms of rank and also like in scrim zone as well. They've had like phenomenal runs on a lot of teams. So I think the scene was like I don't know how last season Metabusters did, but they did pretty well. Super good roster so far. So
Yeah.
Jacob has 2 championships, so he's the GOAT of support.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. No, I mean, Tusini was right there last season. The
Yeah.
finals literally went to a final game.
Uh-huh.
It's as close as you could have got.
Yeah, yeah,
And this
absolutely.
team is just, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see to me the mid jungle matchups because I think all four players are pretty strong, but they're all kind of getting used to playing with one another. It could be interesting to
Yeah.
see who can kind of gel there because I think that could really swing this game if Lily is able to get something going because it could be hard if she's not ahead when these team fights start.
Yeah. If we want to talk about runes a little bit as we're loading in, Fudra has opted for the comet setup on the Malphite. I think he's trying to just try to poke out Avery a little more than the usual setups on Ornn or
Yeah,
on Malphite. Hold on, let me change some shit real quick. All right, and it looks like Stav has opted for the press the attack, so it's probably going to be more of a on-hit Kaisa setup. Uh, Dean has the grasp on Smolder here. That's a little different. Not quite sure what to make of that.
yeah. Doesn't he usually go fleet footwork, or is it?
It got nerfed, I believe. So
Hmm.
maybe this is an adaptation from him. Taxi is complaining in chat. Grass Smolder ICBA. Yeah, I agree. I'm falling asleep in the mid lane as we speak. I'm bored. This champion is so boring to watch, in my opinion. But it is what it
Yeah.
is, I
Oh,
guess.
that's interesting. Well, this is kind of a snoozer mid lane matchup, though. It really is when I was hyping up this matchup between the players.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, it's Dean versus fucking Tusini. Meanwhile, they lock in Smolder and Corky. Like, what? Come on, man. I
Yeah,
sleep.
it's going to be a hard one to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Where is going to be the most important or entertaining point of the game, do you think, to start out for us to be watching the first, say,
It's
15 minutes?
I think it's got to be level 6. Both of these teams are just click their buttons on the waves, farm till 6. Looks like there is some aggressive action coming out. Stav getting a really good Q off, and just PB on the losing end of this trade. You take Grouse because the sustain is more than fleet now. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Taxi, for the input. But yeah, should be super exciting to watch. Uh, Stav is getting like the better end of these trades versus PB. Braum early levels is a little weaker than I'd say Leona is. So, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this scene is just dicking Smolder down. That's crazy.
Hwei also went for the, he didn't go for the Arcane Comet kind of poke, so their damage early is not quite as insane.
Yeah, definitely. First strike is more of a scaling rune, trying to stay healthy. Oh my gosh, he's just clicking all his buttons on the Smolder, and he's losing all his HP. Dean already having to burn double potions. I think this game is really gonna take off when both junglers hit 6. Mumu with the ultimate, the Curse of the Sad Mummy, definitely has a lot of playmaking potential. Probably want to go for that as soon as possible. Try to get like a good setup for around an objective and win the fight
Dean,
that way.
yeah, Dean is in so much trouble, though. He is, we need to get the camera on mid pretty soon because he's so low. He does
Yeah.
still have barrier, but no teleport, no health potions, and a cannon wave pushing towards him.
Has Dean ever played versus Corky since the rework? I think this game is giving us a definitive no. He has not.
This is
Already
where
had to
not
burn the
taking
barrier
something like
too.
teleport is such a disadvantage.
Yeah, already has to base. Gets the boots. Potential potion angle here as well. So
Well, I was
doesn't.
saying that Red Team really had to get an advantage early. I didn't expect it to be possible for it to come from the Corki, but Tusini's just kind of taking it into his own hands.
Yeah, I've made fun of him for saving this for R5, but like he's definitely getting a lot of value out of it as of right now. Is up 11 CS, first base for the tier. So definitely is gonna have less of these mana issues that we kind of saw. That is the most FF base ever. He lost an entire stack to him. So true, Taxi. I agree. Both junglers finishing their clear. Just going for grab. Boring Osix clear junglers. I sleep. But definitely the meta right now. So not
Crazy that
much to
Avery's the
say.
one that's still full health when he's against the Comet Poke.
Yeah. Definitely utilizing his knowledge of the Ornn matchup. Joey's just chilling in this bush. Don't know if anything's gonna happen. The E is coming up. The snowball or the bowling ball is coming out, but BB is still full HP. The ignite has to burn the flash to get away, but
That's pretty big.
definitely,
No flash for a 6 gank.
yeah, definitely a good play from the side of Bedbusters. E
Oh.
coming out onto the Hui here. Stav is going in. The exhaust coming
Uh-oh.
out and the fear, the barrier and the flash is going to have to be burned, but he is quite low. The passive from Kaisa. If he would have gotten it off, I think they win that trade.
Oh
But
my goodness.
oh, W coming out.
Oh.
Oh, Stav with the
Oh.
clutch. I don't know what ability that
Gosh.
is, but definitely very strong.
Oh
Looks
my
like, oh
god.
my gosh, Avery is also bopping this fucking Malphite in the top lane.
Bot. Top. Hold on.
Okay, Jacob is still playing super aggressive. Nom is potentially down here though for
Uh-oh.
this
Oh, has
play.
flash.
Jesus, not to burn
Does he
it.
even need it?
Nope. Looks like nothing is going to happen here.
Oh my god, he left another person
Oh,
in
wait,
one hit.
Avery? Solo Bolo?
Got a flash? Oh. Wow, that's some discipline to hold the flash there.
Yeah, definitely doesn't
He's
have to burn
staying.
it. Can just wait for Fuji to potentially mess up and just go for it again. Want to see how this goes. Definitely a little exciting as the game is starting to ramp up a little bit. See, both junglers have their faded ashes, so healthy item by the way, I think, surely. Oh my gosh, Dean is taking so much damage. The
Oh.
flash is burned from Tusini, but definitely
Not
still
quite
alive
level
here.
6 yet, so he can't hit. He doesn't have the finishing damage.
Yep.
Hoosier gets to get the wave with nothing lost in the end. A little bit of farm.
Yep. Dean is 2 levels down to this Corki. Tusini definitely knowing the Corki side of this matchup way more than
He's having to miss another wave right now. Already 25 farm down.
that's crazy. To see the bit of a mid differential here in the early parts of this game.
Just a straight mid 1v1. No, there's been no interference by any other character.
Yep. Definitely utilizing knowledge of this matchup very well. So I think because Rift Sharks has 2 faded ashes, they win the game because 2 faded ashes is better than 1. So that's just my theory. Looks like Gnome is going to start up the grubs here. Doesn't have Proud. Joey does manage to get one. The Q coming out. Avery does throw out the ultimate. The Corky is here, but oh my gosh, the flash ulti from Fudra and first blood going over to Metabusters. One is being traded back. The Corky does manage to go down.
Can he get him?
The Lilia is and the Q coming out from the Malphite, and it looks like this should be a pretty easy 2 for 2. Good E from Avery though, and does manage to pick up one more, and it's going to be a clean 2 for 2 here from the side of the Rift Sharks.
Avery's not
Managing
done.
to stable that play.
Avery's not done.
Avery really isn't done, but he might not win this to the Malphite. Okay, the auto from Fujer! And a crazy play, the Malphite coming in clutch here.
Play. That ended up being crazy just off Avery living for so long and catching out the Lilia, staying too close to that pillar.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a really good play from the side of Metabusters. Oh, but Fujer is potentially overstaying here and might die to the Ornn. Real quick, like, yeah, definitely going to be another pickup. Noam did start that dragon, but Metabusters rotated over in time to try to contest. And yeah, he's just going to go.
No way he executes, right?
He's just going to base! There's no way! That's criminal activity!
Why didn't Amumu could just got
I guess he just wants to go for grubs.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, if we can get grubs off before the Malphite ults back up now.
Yeah, I think that's honestly fine though. You got one grip from the side of Meta Busters. You can start this dragon. Dragons tend to be a little higher value in my opinion right now, because dragon
Sure.
stacking is quite good for soul. And you already got the one grub from the side of Meta Busters, so that means you'd never get the two grubs spawn from six grubs. So I personally think this is a good trade for Meta Busters. They came out on top in the kill department as well. They did both go on to Malphite, but like I don't know. I guess it's fine that Malphite has kills. You know, let the Rock get a little damage, but
He needs it in that matchup. That's a hard Ornn favored matchup, especially
yeah,
as the game goes on. So getting him any kind of a lead so the 1v1 can stay hopefully good for a little while longer is huge.
yeah. Dean is definitely getting a little gap. To Noam is here, getting caught out by Jacob and Joey here a little bit,
Oh,
but not much really happening. Did have to burn the ulti though, so you never want to see that. A Moo ult that doesn't get any value, definitely a bit of an L. Oh my
oh,
gosh, he just gets a solo kill. A lot of poke coming
sniped
out, and
him.
well played
Sna-
from Tusini
ah,
here.
yeah, he's playing really, really well.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy level difference in mid lane as well, as Taxi is pointing out. Dean is level 6 while Tusini is level 8. It's a bit of a mid differential currently.
This was just one of those games where you're playing a matchup and against a champion that he wants to just scale and farm. But if you disrespect a champion like Corki, if you play
Oh
levels
wait,
1
Joey
through
has a
3
play here.
incorrectly, you can get such a
Double
problem.
Sleep is managing to come out here. Noam is here, but has no ultimate. I don't think you really care if the...
Oh, scares him off though.
Yeah, definitely not a dive angle, but like I like the damage that Metabusters has put out here, so...
Yeah. I mean, they've already gotten the dragon. There's no objective really right now.
Yeah, just sort of fighting for fun. I think it's fun for them because there's nothing they really want to contest. Ooh,
Oh,
good Q from Jacob. Jacob, or not Jacob, from Noam. No, Jacob is definitely dead here. Super great catch from Noam here.
I guess he was on vision there from the minions.
Yeah, definitely. Super well played from not Metabusters, Rush Sharks. Good catch from Noam with the Q over the
Yeah,
wall.
really, really well played.
Yeah, Dean is still getting a little astro-fisted in the mid lane. It's a 40 CS difference. Oh my lord.
Yeah, he's gonna need some help. He's gonna need a Mumu to be there if there's ever gonna be a chance of dealing with Corki.
Yeah, definitely a little rough from him. Well, Taxi, I think we have discovered the secret counterpick into Smolder. Thoughts?
I, it should just be it should just be both champions just farming, no huge lead either way. Is how that
Yeah.
match would normally go. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a smash. But I want to see Metabusters put other players towards mid to smash even harder. Like let's
Yeah.
dive him under the turret or something. Let's get
PB
plates.
is here trying to defend his mid laner. So true. This counterpick is the other mid laner running it down. So true. I agree, honestly. But yeah, not much is really happening. Metabusters have accrued for themselves a little bit of a gold lead, but Red Shark's definitely keeping it very close here, in my opinion. So we'll have to see what they're trying to do. Metabusters definitely probably eyeing the grubs here. Ooh, the E in from the Porky. The ulti comes out from Mom. The barrier coming out, and Tusini has to flash. Oh, but does get killed by Dean, and it looks like Joey should be here for the cleanup, and it's a 1 for
That's
1.
crazy. That's crazy.
I think you say worth is Smolder. Like you're
Yeah,
getting
you
fucking
do.
diffed. You're getting fucking fisted in the mid lane, and managed to.
Hey, barrier made a difference right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely seeing the value of barrier on these 80 carry type champions. So, but
That
Joey
just
getting a
feels to
kill,
me.
definitely pretty
Uh,
solid.
yeah, no, that just feels to me like Tusini trying to force too hard on his own. Like he's been beating him, but he knows he needs to beat him harder.
Yeah.
Feels pressure to just go for the full health, all in 1v1. We got to get Leona or Malphite to walk down, or just anyone to put some pressure to just further that and get the Corki an
Yeah.
actual lead that'll last.
Yeah, but I do want to put some eyes on this Lilia. This champion is phenomenal with gold, and you see like he's out starting to just turbo rip through the Amumu's farm. Like is up that 20 CS, getting those kills. He is very accelerated, and Amumu hasn't really been able to find these angles to try to punish this champion. So he's definitely going to be a bit of a menace in these team fights. Lilia is a phenomenal team fighter. Bowling ball coming out, I don't think he's going to get anything. Looks like they're just going to try to transition into the grubs top side. Try to get these 4 grubs. I think it's 4. Yeah. They can get
Yeah.
4 here and get that one little minion spawn. Stop is on his own here. Potential angle for kill from the side of Rift Sharks. The ulti coming out, but the flash. Well played from Stop to manage to avoid death there.
Yeah, that looked pretty dangerous. Well timed on the flash. My thing is, I guess Noam also went top, but I just wouldn't want to lose this dragon. I think Metabusters needs to just be stacking dragons really quickly when that comes up in 10
Noam is
seconds.
kind of
He's
lost in
up there.
Africa here. The Q coming out. The
Oh,
ulti comes
Avery,
out.
go big here!
Oh, huge ulti from Avery. Does
Oh!
manage to live. Okay, but the Corki's also here. Does manage to pick him up in response 2 for 2. Avery can still win
Avery,
this.
no mana though, no mana. Oh,
Okay, but the autos is just enough for Corki.
damn.
Well played from the side of Metabusters here.
I mean, well played from the side of Rift Sharks too. It looked like Noam was caught, but then he found a massive ult, which let
Yeah.
Avery full combo. But then
The
the
Corki came
three-man
in right
Malphite
after.
ult
Yeah,
at the
with the
same
Malphite
exact
ult.
time Corky showed up.
That was
That was
crazy.
crazy.
A super good
Really
turn
well
from
played.
Metabusters. Rift Sharks almost got the drop on them, but I think the definitely good recovery, and they did manage to get the 4 grubs like I was talking about. Amumu has no R here, so this dragon fight potentially is a little tricky. Lilia also has no R, but I think Lilia does tend to be a little stronger in these fights if you can get like your movement speed passive up and running. It's really hard to get hit by the Amumu Q, so we'll have to see how this dragon fight shakes out really. Looks like Metabusters hasn't started it yet, has just
No
opted to
chill.
take
I mean,
scuttle
Dean's
grab.
Dean's too low to fight the objective.
Yeah, the
now,
barrier comes
I
out.
believe.
Looks like
Yeah.
this might be another kill for the Corki here, but
It should just be
Ticini
a
does
free
manage to live
drag.
here.
Just don't greed for the kill and get caught by a Mumu. Just go to drag.
Ticini is, oh my gosh, the
good.
American
He's pretty
sniper
good.
with the rocket. Well
He's
played from
pretty
Ticini
freaking
here.
good.
Bit of a mid differential here,
I
to be honest.
I thought no one was gonna try to help there, but he just sat on the side of the
Yeah,
raptor
I mean,
wall instead of just walking up and forcing Tusini back there. If you're not gonna contest drag, just at least keep your mid laner alive.
yeah, and it looks like the 2 dragons have gone over to the side of Metabusters. We really do like to see it. Get potential win con in this Infernal Drake as well. Super good. Oh, good Q from PB. Potential catch. Good ulti from Stav though. Does manage to dodge out the glacial chasm. I think I don't know what this ulti's called,
Yeah.
but super well played
Stop
from
has been
Stav.
clean with the movement.
Yeah,
being just
absolutely,
movement on its own and through ability usage.
absolutely. Definitely
And
keeping
that's
his
going to
ass
be
alive.
critical. That's going to be critical late game. But right now he's showing
Absolutely.
us he can do it.
Yeah.
Just got to see him pull it off.
In team fights, absolutely. But yeah, you see that this Lilia champion is still quite strong. Is utilizing this gold that he has gotten from all these kills to like really accelerate himself ahead of the Amumu. So
Yeah.
good stun onto the side of here. Not much is really happening. Joey is playing pretty aggressive in this river here, but has the ulti from the Malphite rotate over. The ulti comes out from the Malphite. Potential pick onto the Amumu. The Curse of the Mummy is used, but it looks like another kill going to Metabusters. They've just had all the rotations in the top side here, but PB might be able to pick up Jacob here. He's super low. Does manage to get the sun down, and looks like the CC combo is going to come out, and it looks like Leona does get picked up here for the side of the Rift Sharks.
He just held his flash from the get-go, and then at a certain point, even if you flash, you're dead there.
Oh my gosh, Ticini is just destroying this fucking
Dude, there's no way.
Smolder. Oh my lord, that damage is disgusting.
Guys, we got to do something about that if we're the side of Rift Sharks.
Yeah, Avery
Can't
is
just leave him
or not
1v1.
Avery. Dean is definitely playing a little too disrespectful of this Corki here, and Ticini definitely knows his damage and is just walking up and destroying him every time. So. Gonna be a hard game for the side of Rift Sharks here. 2k gold lead for the
on a Mumu now.
Oh my gosh, Ticini is utilizing the push that he has. Oh, the damage is gross! And a huge kill going over to Ticini here. Super well played for the side of Metabusters.
This game is setting up so, like, this is setting up well because this is what we said needed to happen.
Corki definitely
Red team had to get ahead. They had to snowball. And now it's just Blue's chance to... It's only a 2k gold lead right now. It's just they got to find a way to hold on and scale.
Yep, absolutely. Looks like they are going to drop the Rift Herald mid here for the Lilia. Just try to get these towers down. Try to open up the map a little bit. Bowling Ball is coming out here. Jacob is here as well. Looks like they are going to get the second charge here. Avery is here, so potentially a play.
But Corki's deleting him right now, too.
Yeah, like the Corki damage is so gross. The sleep coming out onto the Smolder here. No way they can follow up, but good shield from Braum just to prevent the poke. Ooh, the bandage dodge just missed, but the Call of the Forge God does come out, and it looks like a really good kill onto the side of the Metabusters.
Corki no flash.
And then Corki with no flash does get hit by all the abilities and does manage to go down. Well played from Rift Sharks.
Yeah, Rift Sharks found the 3-on-5. That was interesting. All three
Yeah.
of Metabusters stayed up when other teammates were nowhere near and just didn't respect the ability of Ornn and Braum and Amumu to just catch them.
Yeah, super good Call of the Forge God from Avery. Does manage to catch the Lilia. Fun fact, if you get CC'd by Lilia, you don't get to use the movement speed passive to run around and not die. Like, simple as, really. Alright, it's the Huisha. Also, yeah, Evan with a really good combo on the Hui does manage to set his team up
Yeah.
for success there as well, so.
I do got to credit PB there. I think if he didn't find that initial position where he was between both of the slept members, Corky could have just one-shot somebody
Oh
with a
yeah,
Q and a pack and
absolutely.
a just R.
Does manage to save his Smolder here, but Fujer is sort of in the river boxing with the Ornn. You lose this, by the way, I'm pretty sure, but not
This
much
is what we
really
needed to
happening.
see if you're a Metabusters fan, because eventually I believe that Ornn should start winning out, but right now it's not the case, and this is massive.
Yeah, looks like they're just bopping each other with their tank stats. Next dragon coming up is super important. You do want to secure the soul point as the side of Metabusters. Both teams will have their ultis once again. The Curse of the Sad Mummy and the Lilting Lullaby, both up for Lilia and the Moo. So we'll have to see which team can find the correct engages here.
Evan's on 2 items now. He is so strong.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Kaisen's just on the 1.
yeah, you definitely want to be the Hui in this side of the matchup. The Kaisa is definitely feeling a little weak. Is only on Shiv plus components for Rageblade. Your Lilia and your Corki are pretty accelerated, but Hui is so fucking strong with the Leandries and the Blackfire Torch. Ulti coming out from Dean here onto the Fujer. Might be a potential pick.
Malphite
Fujer
can
does have
ult
the
out, I
ulti.
believe.
The Call of the Forge God is coming
Has to
out, but this
pause
means
it.
they are going to be down 2 members for the Infernal Dragon, and it looks like Metabusters
Yeah.
has just opted to just take this. Could be a contest. The ulti coming out from the Hui. Oh, and good smite from Jacob or Joey to secure this dragon. I don't know if that's really worth it from the side of Rift Sharks. You giving them soul
No.
point for no
Certainly
kill top
wasn't.
lane?
Yeah, it
Little
definitely
suspect,
wasn't.
I think.
And like, I'm sure they felt like they almost got Malphite because he got really low, but at the same time, he held R for a long time. If he had just R'd the initial, they wouldn't even been close to killing, and then
Yeah,
you're just getting
like
soul point.
close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, children. Like
Exactly.
that's just not useful at all. And like, I guess you got top tower. Congrats, but enemy team is on Infernal Soul point, and Infernal Soul is quite strong. With the Corki, with the Lilia, and D's potentially caught here. Joey does have a huge angle though.
Definitely
Q
caught.
coming out. The W coming out, and it looks like this should just be a kill without the ultimate as well. That's
Yeah.
not what you want to see. Joey does
Smartly
manage to
just
pick up another
saves the
kill here.
summoners, but that could end up being a Baron. Although
Yeah.
Kaisa's not there, so it becomes harder to start an objective. We don't have one of our...
Jacob might be caught here though. Good bandage toss, and it looks like another kill is going over to the side of the Rift Sharks here. In terms of the Baron, they could have done it maybe because they have Corki plus Lilia. It's like ADC, and then Lilia does a lot of damage on the.
Yeah, it looks like they've finally put Kaisa towards mid, but she needed to be there because you have 2 champions with teleports. Put somebody else bot. Kaisa needs to be in range of every play right now.
Yeah, PB is push up here, but has the Amumu in the wings here potentially just to flip this fight. Could be a potential fight around the Baron here. Starting to ramp up for the side of Metabusters. They do want this Baron. They do have a 2k gold lead-ish right now, but they definitely want to keep it accelerating. And game states like these are a little suspect for the side of Metabusters. Letting the Smolder get like free stacks on the Dragon passive, so do want to see them potentially like force this fight around the Baron, see what they can get. Dean is on 165 stacks at 21 minutes, so not super close to the execute threshold, but definitely still gotta watch out for it.
Yeah, if you manage to get a pick in the next like 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, you could maybe try Baron, but really just setting up for this Infernal Soul, it fits really well for their team comp.
Yep, absolutely.
And then at that point too, if the game is like you're still struggling, you'll have like a 30-minute Elder or less.
Yep,
And if you can win with that, then you can still finish the game before scaling really becomes a huge factor.
agreed. But looks like not much really needs to happen on the side of Metabusters. I'll have to see if Rishix does want to opt for the fist fight around the Baron. Bowling Ball is coming out here, doesn't manage to hit anyone.
Yeah. No cleanses, no Mikhails. I mean, there's nothing to help with Lilia's sleep at the moment. So if she can manage to find a big one, that could be the way you just start to break the game open too.
Yeah, definitely positioning for this Baron really hard. They do want to try to spot out the Noam engage here. Future does manage to spot him out, trying to find the picks onto him, but looks like they might just turn and start the Baron here. They know Avery is bot lane here. They do
Yep.
choose to start it, and it looks like this could be a bit of a fight for the Baron here.
Avery's gonna
Avery
have to
does have
TP, but
TP.
they're gonna get poked low from the Baron. Got to make sure you turn before you get poked too low.
Yeah,
But
they
they're
could
really
also just
finishing it
finish.
fast.
Definitely
Yeah.
an option to finish here. Looks like they are going to opt for the finish. Lilia does manage to secure it, and it looks like there might be an engage. Joey does
Oh,
manage to live, does not get CC'd, but the Kaisa does get CC'd by the Curse of the Forge, or Curse of the Mummy. Fujer does manage to get one back. Evan is super low, but
Tusini's still alive.
Tusini is still alive, DPSing them pretty
Avery.
hard. But Avery does manage to keep him the way alive, and it looks like it is going to be a 3 for 2 here. You definitely.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, Fujer is sort of 1v9 on the Malphite here, though.
no one was chasing, but he'll be back to just finish him off.
Yeah, and it is going to be a 4 for 3 on the side of Rift Sharks here.
Man,
Crazy fight. The Malphite was kind of invincible in that fight.
yeah.
That's crazy. Lived for so
I
long,
think they
but
just Noam got a really good engage onto the back line of
Yep.
Kaisa and just kind of put her out of the fight from the beginning.
but Tusini was
And
still
then at that
alive.
point, at that point, they just barely didn't have enough damage when Avery found that insane knock up onto 2.
Yep, exactly. And it looks like the Lilia does still have Baron, so definitely can utilize it.
I don't think
potentially.
I'm not sure if Lily got to ult that fight either.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's really hard to find ultis in these sort of
No.
team fights because you will
She got
get pretty
chunked.
low from the
Yeah, she
Amumu.
was so chunked from the start, from the Baron. I think
Yeah.
she just had to immediately turn tail and run.
But you definitely want to potentially use this Baron. They did manage to get like a 1k additional gold advantage here from the Baron, so definitely still a bit in the driver's seat of this game. Stav has managed to finish the Rage Blade here, so is potentially pretty strong, but does also have to contest with the Ornn items. Oh, good dodge from Joey here.
Uh-oh,
Does manage to
Funky.
dodge out the Glacial Fissure.
Ooh. Keep your eye on Play. He has no flash this fight.
Yep. Oh, did get hit by the snowball and the fucking
Oh,
Malphite
Kaisa!
ult on top with the Kaisa coming in, and it looks like Wei might
He's
be
one
picked
hit.
here. Ooh, and Kaisa is potentially caught here. Does manage to go 1 for 1, but the fight is so good for the side of Meta Busters. Just finding that opening onto the Wei is so good here, and it should just be cleanup duty. Dean does manage to pick up one here on the who did he pick up? Onto the Leona here, but this should be Infernal Soul for the side of Meta Busters here. Super well played. The bowling ball onto the Hui, into the sleep, into the Malphite R was crazy.
Yeah, we pointed out Fue no flash, and then they just instantly jumped onto him, which is what you have to do. The only reason those other fights were even close was because of how much damage the carries were able to diss out. Because he's been really good about dodging, using his flash, but when you don't have it, you don't have it, and
Yep,
they managed to
absolutely.
just find him.
Absolutely. Super well played. Still, the Stav did have to like give his life for that, but I think you say worth every time like you hit the Kaisa R and you just fucking dump all your abilities into the way and pray your team can win the fight. You have this backup AD carry in the Corki, so I do like their choice to like kind of hard commit into these like really awkward situations and just say we need to get the way off the map and then we just win every fight. So I do like the setup from them. Dean has opted for the Muramana Triforce build on this Boulder. I've heard a lot of shit talk about this build from certain members of the community.
I do believe it's some of the builds I've seen people go and pro play, but I really don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters, though. It's clearly looking strong.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
me, it's just, can we keep those key members alive on the side of Rift Sharks? And Kaisa has so many kind of assassin-like qualities that if he can get in there and just kill one of the
Yeah.
other carries, Corky's so strong right now, that's all you need. Like you
Yep,
just were
you
saying.
just need the one. You just need the one. Absolutely. And it looks like they are opting for the AP as well. If they do manage to find these Void Seekers, it should be a pretty strong champion. Or it should be a
Yep.
pretty strong pick. Avery over the wall here. Not much is really going to happen here. Just trying to clear out vision. Maybe fish
they
for a
spot
fight
him.
here. Looks like not much is really going to happen here. Noah needs a bit of a creative angle on the Samumu here, but... Oh, also, he has adapted and hasn't built. Oh my gosh, Shusini is just jumping in. Avery's TPing away, and it looks like Team might go down the sleep
Whoa.
coming out. I think it was a little unnecessary. Avery also went to the
TP
TP,
out.
slept. That's really
Yeah,
funny. Future might be able to kill him here, but really utilizing this Malphite pick.
that's
No,
just kind of
going in
funny timing,
solo,
I guess.
and another
Yeah.
kill going over. Stav is CC. Does get hit by
I
all the Hui
mean,
abilities. Oh, does manage to go down, but three people going over for the side of
the
Rift
play's
Sharks
untouched.
potentially.
He's untouched. That's crazy. That damage it's still
Yeah,
there.
the Malphite solo kill. We love to see
Uh,
that.
you can't run away. If you can't reach him, he has too much damage at the moment, and he's
Oh,
just kind of
absolutely.
standing like a raid boss. But meanwhile, Malphite's just solo killing Ornn.
Yeah, definitely utilizing this lead super well. Avery is pinging the smolder.
Hoosier's going crazy in this matchup where it should be pretty difficult.
Yeah, definitely. You saw like the engage from Rift Sharks was a little fragmented, and like they managed to pick off the Kaisa with the ulti, but Metabusters does manage to get two towers as well, and just like they have so much gold back in their pockets. The gold lead has kind of ballooned into like a 8k gold lead, or no, this is a 7k gold lead. But yeah, Gnome is like potentially has a catch here on Tusini. The exhaust from PB, but the ulti comes out to
No
prevent the Hui
fun.
from doing damage. And Tusini goes back in, tries to
Oh,
find Evan, does manage to pick one
oh,
up, and it looks like it is going to be a trade onto the Smolder here. I don't know if
oh!
that's worth it, but Stav is still alive here. There is a potential fight angle here. And the Ornn Call of the Forge God does come out. Avery is trying to
Underworld's
find
not
Stav
up.
here, but Jacob does go down, and Bowling Ball coming out. Stav is still alive. Future is also just fucking immortal,
Avery's in the back
apparently.
line.
Joey is here now. Looks for the bowling ball. Has the sleep here. If they
But
can
what does
find the
Lilia do
flash
here?
sleep, and the sleep comes out here for the side of the Metabusters, and Dean is just dead here. Stop
There it
ulting back
is.
in, and it looks like this should be a one fight for the Metabusters here. Super well played. Avery does go down, and this could be a potential end angle here for the Lilia. Might be a little hard though. But it
Wow.
looks like what an insane fight from the side of Metabusters. Ticini just goes for the assassination onto the Hui, does manage to find it, and
Yeah.
then the rest of Metabusters just sort of outplaying them on the in the rest of the fight. Like,
Yeah, that was
uh,
a slick Leona. I think it was Leona ult on Hui that allowed Corki to kind of go for him there. And I
yeah,
was wondering, why is this even close? And then Lilia showed up, and I was like, oh, well, now that she's there, yeah, it's not very close once she
yeah.
managed to find that sleep.
Looks like no might be caught here once again. Choosing to Q in does get the smite onto it, but Future is also here, and Gnome is definitely dead here. The curse of the
Yeah.
sad mummy coming out, but you're dead, brother. And Baron is up. This is not a good play. PV is here as well. Does manage to hit the Q onto the Lilia, but should just be a free Baron transition here. There's no jungler from the side of Rift Sharks, and this should be This should be the Baron for them, honestly.
Yeah.
Not much I can really do. Tusini, both ADCs are up. This Baron should just die immediately. Like, the damage is going to be absurd. Like, this shit goes down in like less than 5 seconds here.
Yeah,
Jacob,
I mean, Malphite's not more like half health Malphite right now with no teleport. Like, if you were ever going to have an angle, you probably
yeah,
need to try now.
looks like they just destroy this Baron, and they're just going to see it and try to force the fight here.
Yeah.
Joey is running in. The bowling ball is coming out. Double sleep onto the Hui here,
Yes.
and this is just wraps for them. The Leon ult's coming out. The Kaisa ult's coming out, and Dean is also going to go down as well. It looks like
Yep.
PB goes down, and this should just be game from here. Super well played from the side of Metabusters. Really utilizing this knowledge matchup diff, I think. Or matchup knowledge diff from the side of Ticini just to get himself accelerated ahead of the Smolder. Pairing up
Yeah.
with Joey, who's had a lot of clutch ultimates, just trying to end the game here.
And just not going to be enough. No, yeah, really, really well played game for Metabusters all around,
Absolutely.
especially the top half of the map.
Looks like this should be the end of the game. Who do you think is MVP in this game one? I want to give it to Malphite so bad. That is Malphitemus, bro. The fucking
Yeah,
rock in the top lane.
yeah, Malphite played insanely well. I thought Lilia played insanely well. I thought Tusini played insanely well. I think you could give it to anybody. When you look at the Malphite stats, it's pretty insane. But also just Tusini bossed that man in a 1v1 matchup that shouldn't have been possible and just allowed them to be ending the game at 30 something minutes instead of it still be going and still be looking for a third, fourth dragon if they had just been able to hold on and let Smolder somewhat scale evenly.
Yeah, definitely insane play from the side of Metabusters. God, the Malphite, I know I was clowning on it because they picked it blind, and then I thought Rift had a really good matchup, but I guess Fuja is just the GOAT, bro. Like, I don't know what
Yeah,
to tell you, man. That's crazy.
I looked at some stats websites just because I genuinely had no idea about the matchup, and Ornn had like Malphite had like a 42, 43% win rate into Ornn. Like, it was not favored from what I saw.
But Fuji's the GOAT, so definitely
Well, I
shout
want to
out
get your idea on the jungle matchup. I know we're going to obviously, like, Joey had an insane game, but is that what you would have expected? Not from the players' sides, but from the
from the
champion
champion
side.
side. I've been okay. I like the Lilia into the Amumu matchup. It is in theory really good for Amumu though, because if he can get the full combo off, and then if you have any sort of follow up, the Lilia should just die like every time.
Mhm.
Like it's bad in the 1v1. It's way better for your comp to have an Amumu than it is to have a Lilia. So I would say I'd say it's Amumu favored. Or no. I'd say it's Lilia favored in the 1v1, but Amumu should win if they play team fights correctly. That's my opinion on the matchup. But I do think Metabusters utilized the Lilia pick super well and found a lot of like sneaky engages onto the backline with the Lilia sleep. So I don't know. It's really hard to say. I think it's a pretty even matchup, but I don't know. Hold on, let me double check actually in the
You
stats.
know, I'll say just something I wanted to point out. Dean did not have that great of a game on the Smolder, obviously,
Absolutely not.
but I was already going to point out in his favor that was, I believe, the 10th different champion he has played this season. He has not played a champion more than once in the mid lane so far this season. He was bound to eventually stretch a little too far, but I want to see him go back to some of those other picks he's been playing, something like the Azir, something like the Acel, or even if you can get an aggressive counter pick. He had a really nice performance on Fizz where he got some good damage off. He's played a game of Yasuo, played a game of Rise. I think
Yeah.
Jace even like I want to see a not snoozer matchup. I want to see something where we get some action.
Yeah, hold on. Let me grab the stuff for the game real quick. Also according to the stats, it's favored for Lilia in the 1v1, but I think in
Hmm,
team play, 1v1s for jungle matchups is like turbo fake, so that's my opinion at least. Give me one sec
I think that's
to
fair.
grab the assets real quick.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much bans will change. Don't really know if you need to. I think it could be chalked down to just let's draft a little different, play a little better, and that could be fine. Um, as far as draft strategy, I really think you could be fine going for an aggressive comp again if you're feeling confident, like Metabusters, or going for another scaling-ish comp. I think have a little more comfort, a little more early strength than what they had. But I don't think either team needs
Uh,
to change too much.
I personally would rather see Rishark stray away from the first pick Smolder. I'm not a fan of this. I know the champion is very strong, but I think they've shown a lot more flexibility into champs like Hui, or not Hui, into champs like Varus. I don't know why they're banning it on blue side. I feel like you just
That's true.
like this champ. Like I feel like Varus sort of plays into their wheelhouse. It lets Dean kind of be a bit of a more of a playmaker on the Varus rather than the Smolder. So I personally would have preferred to see that. Um,
Fair.
but yeah, like I think Noam as a solo engaged champion or as the solo engager on his team is just not a recipe for success. I think he has been historically a bit better on champions that tend to follow up. Like I think
Mhm.
PV has been really good about leading the charge, like really finding these clutch engages where Mumu can sort of shine and just like follow up on the engages that PV sets up for him. And I think Varus is a champion that like really helps them like find more engage options and find more engage tools. So I'd rather them like find these synergies that they know they can play towards in this
Yeah.
second game. So should be starting up draft soon, DM. Oh, it's 9:01. Never
So
mind.
so Rift Sharks actually chose to go red side this time.
Yep.
What do you think the strategy should be there? Who do you expect them to hold last pick for? How aggressive do you want them to be with that?
I personally think hold on. If it's red side, then I need to change assets again. Nice. If it's red side, I think they're gonna try to fish for a counter pick on top lane. I think they've been really able to utilize flexible mid 80 carry champions like Hue, like Varus to really net themselves a lot of draft resources. So I'd imagine that this goes towards a
Mhm.
support, or this should go to top lane counter pick. Hold on, I need to. swap the assets over. Give me 1 second.
No rush.
Huh. Give me
Taxi wants
one
to see
second.
Dean play oiled up Gragas. Don't know if Dean has Gragas in his wheelhouse, but at the same time, I didn't know he had Azir, and
True.
I think Azir is harder than Gragas, so it could happen.
Yeah. Hold on.
I'd be curious if Tuscini is just gonna slam Corky again, though, if it's open. I mean, it's a meta pick that people blind pick. Like, if he's feeling confident on that, he could just slam it again.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I also think I would like to see a bit more of an aggressive champion from PV as well. I think he is a way better supporter than Jacob, but like they on Braum, you don't really have a lot of agency to like freely look for these engaged champions. So
Mm.
me personally, I'd rather see him on like a much more aggressive champion.
Yeah, I agree. I think Braum was like a team composition pick. You picked it late in the draft. It slots in well. You already have Engage and Amumu and Ornn theoretically, and then Brahms just insane with Smolder too later game. But at the same time, when Amumu fell behind, when Ornn fell behind, PB was on a champion that had no control on the outcome of the game at that point.
Yeah.
Whereas if he was on something like Leona, on something Rel's probably banned, but on something like Nas, just any kind of playmaker, he maybe could have made something happen and they could have fought back sooner.
Sorry, I'm setting up assets real quick. Give me 1 second.
Draft has started.
Hold on.
Looks to be pretty similar bands so far.
Uh,
Little bit of a salty run back, but just flipping the mid matchup potentially.
yeah. Give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry, Unk is desperately trying to get this set up. I think we got it.
You're
There we
good.
go.
Hey, about halfway through the draft,
Uh,
we're getting to see some pretty cool picks so far. A lot of run back though as well.
yeah. All right. We are there. We go. And
Yeah, a
it
lot of
looks
run
like
back. We got Hui and Amumu again
yep.
on the side of Rift Sharks, but we do
Looks
get the
like
aggressive Nautilus.
yeah. Rift Sharks choosing to ban out Lilia, uh, Twitch, and the Zeri, and then from the side of Metabusters is going to be the Ral, Trinomir, and Neela. Looks like Metabusters did first pick the Smolder, and Rift Sharks responded with the Hui and the Nautilus, and then Metabusters responds with Leona plus Viego, and then Rift Sharks chooses to pick the Amumu, and
Yep.
then for red side bans, they went for Malphite and the Ornn,
I
and
like
for
the Varus
Metabusters,
ban.
ban the Varus and the Jace, and then Rift Sharks choose the Garen. That's the champion.
I like the Varus ban a lot because I think it would have been given Dean a good champion to just try to get a counter pick, especially if it's the Smolder mid lane. But now you mentioned maybe holding for top, but Avery's just gonna blind Garen, and we're actually gonna get the Dean R5 trying to do
Yeah,
what what Tusini did with the R5 last game.
Definitely curious to see what the pick is going to be from Rift Sharks. If I want to talk about other parts of the draft, opting for the Smolder Flex as Meta Busters, I kind of like both sides can play. And it looks like it's going to be an
Oh,
Aurora pick for the side of Tusini. This
whoa,
champion is quite strong in the mid lane IMO, so I'm
whoa.
curious to see how well he'll play it. Gragas could be top lane. It's top lane Gragas for Fujer. This champion is quite good. I think it does pretty okay as a Garen. Garen starts to spin, you bump him out of the way and just run away, right? With your phase rush.
I think so. Garen's honestly can play into any champion top. Like he has
Yeah.
wave clear, he has some poke, he
It's
can
gonna be the
disengage.
Yasuo from Dean.
Whoa. No way. That's pretty hype. That
It's hype, but like you have
what?
one knockup with the
Yeah,
Nautilus.
yeah, if there was another knockup, I would be really seeing the angle, but it's
Is
gonna
it
be
good
hard. He's
into
gonna have to
Aurora?
I genuinely have no idea about that many Aurora matchups. I could see it maybe. I mean, I feel like Aurora would beat most melee champions, but Yasuo is one of the only ones that if they're fighting around a minion wave, can continuously catch up with her even through like dashing away once. So and he has sustained damage like she does, so maybe. But I think it's more just playing for that later game, playing for that team fight, and I think he just wants something with some agency. He doesn't want to just be sitting there getting poked out under the turret.
Oh God, okay. I know this might just be me being a reaction, Andy, but I feel like Metabuster's draft is way better here. Is it not?
I think it is most likely, just because Gragas he could either be winning that lane or neutralizing. I really don't know. If Smolder scales, you have freaking Smolder,
Mhm.
and then Aurora's this X factor that I don't really know what to expect from.
I just
But
think like the only advantage Rift Sharks really has is in this jungle matchup where like Viego into Amumu, I feel like is secretly like an Amumu favored matchup because of the passive and stuff on your
yeah,
E. But it's like everything else is like super playable for Meta Busters and like you have scaling guaranteed with the Smolder. Like Rift Sharks has to win so hard in this game in order for it to be
yeah,
playable. I'm uh, it's like
yeah.
Yasuo with one Nautilus knockup, like sick. I guess you press R on the Smolder and he dies, but then Aurora kills your entire team. No, I don't
Yeah, it's
know.
a little bit of a flip from last game. We said the red side team, Metabusters at that time, was going to have to find leads, going to have to get advantages to be able to play the game out. They managed to do it. This time, it's kind of Rift Shark's side of that coin. They have to be the proactive team. You have to get value out of these counter picks.
Yeah, Viego. I've always said this champion's not that good unless you're way better than the enemy jungler, and I think Joey definitely can make it work here in this spot. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna go for them.
Yeah, we've seen some good Viego gameplay this season already. I know that Apari's had a nice game or two on it where it looked really well. And it's the kind of champion where if your team can just get a fight rolling, it just has so much X factor. It has so much agency for a character
Yeah.
for a player to really take over as soon as they get that first reset. I always feel like your team has to get you the first reset most of the time, but at that point it's just the Viego's chance to just take over.
Yeah. Once you get that first reset as a team, it's like Viego can really start snowballing the team fights, but after that, before that, it's a little tricky for the Viego. Let me switch over to in-game stuff. But yeah, it should be
I do
super
think,
interesting to
yeah,
talk about that.
I do think Viego's pretty good into champions like Yasuo and Garen if it's like a little bit like if his mid laner or his solo lanes are doing well. If Gragas and Aurora have any type of advantage in the 1v1, I think Viego just shows up and just really punishes it.
Yeah, you can pick up the Garen soul and just like run around as the Garen. If you can pick up the Yasuo soul before it like really gets online, like you can win wall the Amumu ult or the Amumu Q, which is really funny. But yeah, it is super exciting. It is gonna be Stav onto the Smolder here. I don't think we've seen him play it that much, but the champion is quite good, and I think he's probably a good Smolder player. So, was
I
cheering
do
for
like the fact
Metabusters
that
because our Sharks picked Smolder game one, but I'm swapping to teams because Metabusters took the Smolder. I agree. You know what? I'm with that, honestly.
yeah, the game last game does not really bode well for your get Smolder removed case, but
True.
I like the fact that we put it bot lane this time. I like the
Yeah.
fact that you're leaving more of a playmaker, X Factor type player on these mid picks, these true mid picks
Yeah.
for really both players now, but especially keeping Tusini on that after he showed so much dominance last game. And Smolder's also a really good bot lane pick. Like, let's not get it twisted. Everybody wants to play it mid. It is still so strong bot. You just have to scale.
Yep, absolutely. Um, Aurora, I think has been like really strong. Has a lot of like lockdown potential if we want to talk about it a little more. Being able to keep people inside the ultimate has a lot of playmaking potential inside the ultimate as well. Being able to dodge abilities by walking through the walls. If you can keep the enemies inside the ultimate, like Viego should have a field day in there, just like drop in with the ultimate and just pick up the souls while they're stuck inside the spirit realm. So I am curious to see how Tusini and Joey really pair up and try to like use their level 6 advantage to try to like
Yeah.
accelerate the window that they have in this game. Jacob on the Leona again. I feel like his Leona wasn't super great inside the game itself. Like he was having a bit of difficulty like finding really solid engages all the time, getting caught a little bit too much, but and it is going to be a little harder in this game in particular for him to play as well because PB is on like the Nautilus rather than the Braum. This champion does tend to have a lot more agency in the game, trying to really push the envelope a little bit, try to like get advantages a lot. So I'm curious to see if PB can really punish Jacob on the Leona here.
Yeah, the way I'd predict this going a little bit is I just think Gragas is such a neutralizer that you need to find a winning angle through bot or mid, most likely for Rift Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting to see how the 1v1 mid goes. I really don't know that matchup super well. And then bot lane, I think you almost have to get an advantage as PB and as the
Yeah,
play this time.
absolutely. As we load up into the rift here, Dean is opting for the fleet footwork. Ticini is on the electric key, trying to play a little more aggressive in lane. There could be an invade angle with the Nautilus as well. This champion is quite good at invades, so we'll have to
It's
see.
interesting to see the teleport on the Smolder. I like that, even bot lane. But then
Yep.
also the ignite on Avery.
Yeah,
He wants to find the aggression.
it has opted for the Conqueror over the Phase Rush, and Garen has, or not the Garen, the Gragas has also opted for the Grasp instead of the Phase Rush as well. Definitely going to be a bit more of a brawl-centric matchup than for the side
Yeah.
of this top side, so curious to see how it shakes out for them.
Good choice by Fuzier to go with the grasp in that sense. If it'd been maybe the phase rush, you might have wanted the arcane comet. But
Yeah.
if Avery's going for the extended fights, he's going to be happy that he chose grasp.
Absolutely. I don't know if this is like a read into the read, if you know what I mean, but like definitely good for them. No, I'm opting for the green smite here, just trying to get a little more survivability inside these team fights. And then Joey opting for the blue smite here for the Viego. Definitely really good for the Viego tempo wise. Like once you get this, the item flipped, or the pet flipped, you should be able to like really accelerate your clear speed. Just like able to get to objectives a lot faster once you're done with your camps type thing. So
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I mean, if Avery's actually able to get a big advantage in the 1v1, I think at that point, if Garen's hard winning, it becomes strong or hard even for it to be a 2v1. If Viego goes up there, Garen has like 2v1 potential.
W coming out does manage to get some damage onto Slav. Tassini is really just poking out Dean here, and looks
Yeah,
like
getting a lot of power out of that level 1 Q.
yeah, Aurora level 1 is quite strong. Has like a bit of a 3-hit passive. Procs on your spells, I think. So Avery just spinning in the middle of the wave. Almost procs his Conqueror. Does a lot of damage, but ooh, insane Q coming out from PV, the auto coming out, and that's a super good trade for the bot lane here. They are gonna have to concede the level 1 potentially for the level 2 for the other side of this matchup. Dean is taking so much damage in this mid lane though. Looks like both junglers are just doing the normal 3 clear or the normal 6 clear. Not much has really happened in terms of that on the map. Yeah, definitely slower pace for this game so far. Not much really happening. As we see both junglers clearing up towards top side, the Garen has pushed into the Gragas quite a bit, so Viego might look for a play here, but Amumu is also on this top side, so I do want to shout out Joey for doing his clear correctly, has opted to go for a grub. Gromp over going blue next. This is really good sequencing. You want to do your small camps before you do buffs when you're jungling. So making sure that you get your Gromp on next respawn, or get your Gromp to respawn faster, is super good for optimizing your clear. So shout out to him for that. Yeah, Ticini is getting quite a bit of HP advantage in this mid lane matchup though. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Still has
crazy.
2 health pots to Dean 0.
Yeah.
But Dean has
Doran's blade should be
teleport
more
this time,
sustained.
so
Ooh, unlucky hook, but looks like
having
Joey
teleport will help.
does have the faster clear here, does manage to get it before Mumu can get there. Looks like a Mumu might look top lane here, but Joey could potentially go for a double crab here. Looks like has just opted to channel the base instead.
And Avery's doing work, still has the ignite.
Oh, oh my gosh, the Ticini poke is crazy. Really knowing the damage on this Aurora champion, just zoning Dean off these waves.
Dean's in trouble again, and he's just... PB's on a champion now, though, that could potentially help earlier than something like the Braum,
Yeah.
or
Ooh,
no.
Joey did cancel his base, looking for Avery here. Good bump. Avery does have to burn flash, and
There's a nice flash.
yeah, Joey staying on the map here. I really do like this awareness from Joey.
Yep.
Knowing that a Mumu does want a base because you can't really have access to the bottom grub or the bottom crab. So he opts to stay onto the map for topside and try to look for a play on Avery, who keeps pushing. So does manage to burn
Really
the
good
flash,
call
is
out.
rewarded for that play. So
Yeah, it's a good, really good just decision
yep,
by
absolutely.
the jungler there, and good call out by you to notice
Oh,
that.
but Ticini is potentially overextended here. Does
Uh-oh.
have the stealth,
That's what
does
I was
manage to get
saying.
away.
He's got friends this game.
Yeah. Does look for a lot of damage here. The hook does manage to come
Oh,
out into the bandage toss. This could be a kill. Does have to burn the flash.
no, it's another.
Gnome hits another Q. Did buffer the E to potentially get away here, but a good flash from
No
Gnome. Does manage to
flash.
dodge it.
There's no way,
He's putting a
right?
lot of
He's got
damage down,
flash.
but Ticini or Jacob has found a potential kill onto the side of the. Oh my
Wait,
gosh, they might actually get a kill here.
what?
There's no way. Fudra is looking for this, but oh, does manage to get
What?
the first blood. Ticini did buy so much time, and Fudra might be out here, but no, he has no flash, and Avery does manage to pick up that kill. Ticini does
No
go
way.
for the
Oh
execute,
my god.
and Joey does have the dragon
How?
started here, so I think this is a Meta Buster's favorite play. Ticini bought so much time there.
You
That's
think?
crazy.
How? How? I guess Dean stayed mid, didn't follow, but I don't know if they would have caught him anyway. But they can't catch him. Gragas shows up and they get turned on. That's insane.
Yeah, Gragas does have to give his life for the one kill, but does manage to pick it up. And Joey having the wherewithal to know that you kind of have this free dragon opportunity. Bot lane also got like a really advantageous trade onto Evan. Jacob found a really good Zenith blade in, and they just
What a big play.
took the dragon right under their nose. Super well played from Meta Busters here. Ocean Drake definitely helping to relieve a bit of the pressure in the lanes. The free HP regen is super useful. So
I'm curious to see what build Aurora ends up going for. I
Nope.
feel like I've seen a few. I don't really know that well. I know Taxi probably is a better idea, but I've seen like some Malignants. I think I've even seen some Ludens. I know at first people were trying Rod of Ages. I feel like you have a lot of options.
yeah, I think this is probably going to be a Malignant setup. I think your ulti does have a lot of value in these fights, and you do want to get it up as much as possible. So I think it's probably going to be that. Looks like Joey is also going to be able to grab the grubs here. Just has so much prio. And this is super good for the side of Meta Busters, picking up 3 grubs and first dragon. You love to see it. Super good for them just to get their gold lead accelerated. Jacob is here as well. Avery does potentially have a play here, but it looks like Rift Sharks are wiser and choose to back off here. So,
Yep.
are going to give it for free. Stop is trading pretty aggressively
At
onto
6
this way.
advantage.
Ooh, good flash to dodge the whale ulti, but ooh, definitely a little rough for the Smolder here, but I don't think you mind too much being left alone on the Smolder while the Eno goes to roam. Does only have 38 stacks of the Dragon practice, but we'll have to see how he scales up
Yeah,
here.
I mean, he's behind, but still kind of in striking distance, no doubt, if he farms well.
Good
And now
E
Leona's
onto
there for the catch.
Leona. The ulti, the Ignite comes out as well, and this should be a kill onto Evan. The barrier comes
And
out, no flash.
Oh, Leona doesn't cancel
PB
auto.
is here, but no
I
kill,
think Leona
but
canceled her Q.
ulti comes out
Oh,
for
that's
the side
unfortunate.
of the Meta Busters. The E comes out here. Could still be a kill onto Avery.
Avery has ult, but I
I
don't
think
think he'll.
King Mr. Joey has it too. Does manage to get it
Yeah,
off, and another kill
and they
going over
give
to
it,
the side of Metabusters.
and they give it to Viego there too. He's now onto a good lead.
Yeah, I wonder what build he's gonna go as the Viego. I've seen a lot of them building Kraken Slayer beforehand. I think that build has gotten nerfed, and I think Bork is better. That's my opinion, though. I'm not entirely sure. Looks like he is probably just gonna go for the Kraken Slayer still. This item is not that good anymore since the nerfs, I believe. At least in my opinion. I don't
What did it
actually know.
lose during the nerfs that kind of allow you to think the Blade's ahead of it?
Huh?
What changed during the nerfs for you to think the Blade's
Okay, I
better
think
choice?
Kraken got nerfed for ranged champions, so I might be misremembering. But Bork also got buffed for melee champions as well, so I just think like the sustain, the way it synergizes with all of Viego's kit.
Oh, Mumu's there.
Amumu ulti does manage to come out too soon. He does have the ulti and uses it to get out. Just has so much awareness of how this champion works, and super well played from him.
That's another 3-man coming mid that he manages to just kind of get
Yeet
away.
himself off
That's
of.
really cool use of the ultimate there. You mostly see it being used aggressively so far in the games I've watched, but really good defensive use just to get out.
Yeah, knowing that you can bounce around through the walls. PB was also there, so they definitely had a kill angle there if he overcommitted in that fight. So good wherewithal to know to get out of there ASAP. But yeah, I think there was like a melee champions do extra damage when you buy Bork, so I think it's just a bit better in terms of sustain and like the DPS department than Kraken Slayer. But that's
That
just
makes
like
sense. Yeah.
my opinion. Looks like Amumu is looking for the Viego here, but doesn't know that the Leona is here as well. Avery does manage to get a
Oh,
really clean solo
wow.
kill. But they are definitely looking for the out here.
Dangerous.
It's a little dangerous. Good solo kill from Avery though, knowing that the Ragus is a little bit weaker than him. Bot lane does know that the Leona is topside, so probably just gonna choose to disengage here. Or the
Yeah.
Smolder knows that the bot lane has prio here, so.
Avery's kind of taking it his own this turn or this game. Like really nice use of the flash, the ignite. You saw why he took those aggressive summoners, aggressive runes. And that's big as if you're a Rift Sharks fan to kind of see them have a strong lane to play into aside from the Hui.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they just have the Stridebreaker. Is going to go for the Rod of Ages. Greg is set up with the Grasp. Is trying to be super tanky. A lot of AP still. And this is a potential fight angle. Tusini is here. The flash
Oh,
Q coming out from
oh,
PB,
what a
but does whiff. The
dodge.
ulti comes out. Knowing to flash over the wall, so Dean can't get the ultimate. And it looks like the ult is used from the Nautilus. So Yasuo kind of isn't a champion in this fight if Metabusters
Yeah.
choose to take this fight once more. Dragon is up. They do still have to watch out for the Curse of the Sad
No
Mummy from the
flash.
Amumu. Stomp does get hooked here though, but Leona also finds it engaged in, but the Hui ulti does come out, and it looks like this should be a kill for the side of the Rift Sharks. The Amumu ulti coming down as well,
Gotta
the
get on
Aurora
Hui.
coming out, the Viego could potentially pick up the reset here, does manage to get it, does pick up
Oh,
the soul, and it looks like this is an open fight for the
he's a Mumu
Metabusters here.
now.
Leona does manage to fight the engage onto the Yasuo here. The ulti comes out from the
Oh,
Gragas, who used TP to get to this fight, and it looks like it is another kill
no.
going over to the side of Metabusters, and it is a 5-for-3 score lead onto the Metabusters here. Super well played.
Dude.
Just
Wow.
really
Crazy
utilizing
fight.
everything in their kit there. The TP burn from Fujer.
Yeah. Great team fight there. Like you saw, Avery used the ignite to get the advantage in his 1v1, but then Fuzier just said, I'm a TP and make a play elsewhere. And the
Absolutely.
re-engage was insane. Once they managed to get on Hui, they just had the fight. And man, you're seeing the power of that Viego first reset. He barely lived, got
Absolutely.
the reset, and it's just a wash.
Yeah, it does have the Kraken Slayer completed, so it does have the item advantage over the Amumu regardless. So, 2 dragons up. Could potentially go for 6 grubs here. The Garen is in the bush. They know this. Aurora is going to TP here. Joey might just want to do a 1 grub and then leave kind of setup here. Garen does have the
Uh-oh.
read on him, and it looks like he is going to desperately try to get out here. Does manage to dodge the Stridebreaker, so this is a potential
Huge.
opening here. PV does have ultimate here with the Yasuo coming up soon, so they might just have to give the 4 grubs here. And just live with the 4 grubs. Definitely still good for the side of Metabusters. 4 grubs is sort of the breakpoint that you kind of want. Still gives you the 1 extra little rift homie that you get. So I definitely think it was a good read to just give this up. Rift Sharks is gonna try to look for the Aurora here.
Don't think they'll be able to reach the Aurora, but
Uh,
oh, still
Metabusters
looking.
does also have a read that this play is going on. PB is going to try to Hex Flash over the wall. Joey is keeping the Nautilus out of this fight, but the combo coming out, Dean doesn't have his R key bound apparently, does manage to pick up the
Uh-oh.
Nautilus. The kill does
That's
back
Aurora.
up over back, but the Aurora is here, and it looks like this should just be a clean fight for the Metabusters here once again. The ulti does finally come out, but the Gragas plus the Aurora damage is just too much for the side of Metabusters here, and it should be another kill going on to the Gragas here. Dean, is your Archie bound here? Like, PB has the ultimate coming out onto the Viego here. You can shut down the Viego before he can potentially go big in this fight, but just doesn't press it, and Nautilus dies because of it. So, very rocky way to start off this fight.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was going to say that I think unlike last game where you saw a Metabusters early Dragon lead, the gold lead's a lot closer, and there's really still good angles if they can find the right kind of play, but when you don't synergize there and you don't have play in the fight, it just becomes so difficult.
Yeah, definitely Metabusters have had like super good team plays this series. Joey, Fudra, and Tusini have been pairing up super well. The Aurora has been so valuable for them. And Joey, knowing that he can just sort of kill the Nautilus on the side here, PB playing way too aggressively right there does get the ulti off on him, but once again, if you don't have that Yasuo follow-up, this combo just is not good. Like, Viego is just able to kill him and then buy enough time for Aurora to show up in this fight, so looks like it is going to be an aggressive look for the side of Metabusters here, or Rift Sharks here, inside the red side of Metabusters. They are looking for a fight. He is onto Noam here. Is dropping super low. The Curse of the Sad Mummy comes out, and Noam is just dead. The Ignite coming out, and another kill going over to the side of Metabusters. Super good engage from them. Noam just up too far and just dies for free. Also burned the Curse of the Sad Mummy, so not what you want to see.
They'll still have plenty of time to prepare for the dragon fight, which is really important, but I don't know if the ult will be back up. It might be. That's tough, though. They have to find a coordinated engage. If it's not all 4 or 5 players going in at the same time with your abilities, it's going to be really hard to win at this point.
Yeah, and it looks like Joey is going to walk up and face check here.
Yep.
Is super squishy. Does get blown up by the way here, but the ulti comes out. Jacob does manage to find another engage onto the side of the Rift Sharks here, but they're both super low. It looks like they are going to base. Aurora is looking for it. Jacob does manage to pick up one, and 2 more kills going over to the side of Metabusters here. Joey face checking that bush does manage to live and just buys so much time that the Metabusters all show up and manage to kill Hui here. Super well played from them. Ulti coming out from Fudra onto Avery here. Gets him into the tower. Once again, Avery has to flash away from the Viego. The stun coming out, and they're still chasing this. This could be another kill. Oh, the phase or the Stridebreaker comes out. The Flash E onto the Gragas, and Mumu misses the Q, and it looks like another kill going over to Metabusters. They can still keep going. Joey does have the Garen Soul. Is gonna spin. Does have to flash. Knows to ulti over the wall, looking for the kill onto Noam once again, and it looks like Joey is just fucking gapping the shit out of Noam here in this series, baby. Oh my lord, he is taking over. He is the Ruined King, and it looks like Metabusters in such a commanding position in this game.
Man, I'm loving the aggressiveness of a Viego Aurora combo. Like,
yeah, they're playing this so well.
It's so nice seeing them just send it and get people low and just finish them off.
I do want to shout out Fudra though. The Gragas play has been phenomenal. Knowing just to keep Avery in that tower, like tower range, just a second longer to get another tower shot. Super well played. I didn't even realize there was a game. Welcome, Arne. Yep. Rift Sharks are currently getting booty blasted by the Metabusters. Dean does potentially have an angle onto the Gragas here. Does hit the tornado. Has already used the ultimate. The Aurora TP coming out. Does manage to get the ulti off. And another kill going over to the Aurora, who TP'd. And they lose the dragon on the opposite side. Joey's still on the map here. Looks like the Hui is doing his best to try to get the advantage here. The ulti coming out from the Viego does manage to pick up the first soul, and oh my gosh, it's just a complete slaughter by Metabusters.
You might have been a little late, Arnold. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the series might be over, bro. Sorry,
This is looking really dire.
Yeah. Just like Viego and the Aurora have paired up so well, and it's just
And it's a
looking like a
hex toll
complete
this game. Like,
domination. Yeah.
this is so hard. And you don't even have the hard scaling window you kind of had last game when you picked
Yeah,
Smolder.
looks
Now
like
you
a Q
just...
coming out, and Joey might be caught
Oh, good
here.
catch. Good
Good catch
catch.
from Noam. Another bandage toss coming
There you
out,
go.
and another kill going over. Definitely a little too aggressive from the Meta Busters here, but they are still in a pretty commanding position. Dean does EQ forward, looking for the Aurora
Okay.
here, but the Aurora is kiting him pretty well. The
Flash.
Nautilus is here. The Flash ulti coming out from Dean, but the Aurora ult coming out, and
Oh
Tucini does
my
manage to get
God.
away with by going through the
There's
Spirit
no
Realm
way.
once again. Well played from the side of Tucini here. That's my GOAT, baby. Best mid laner in the server, baby.
Flip it.
Clip
Dude.
that shit. That shit was a crazy play. Well played from him. But it looks like he might go down
They're
to
still
Gnome here, though.
looking.
Does manage to get the stealth over
way.
the wall, though. Gragas ulti
Okay,
coming out, but not enough. Another TP coming out for the side of Meta Busters here. And it looks like Stav has arrived on the case here. Does manage to pick up Gnome here, probably. Is trying to stack him here, though. And it looks like Meta Busters do still manage to get the advantage in this play. Avery is the Garen in the bush, looking for PV still. Does whiff the ulti, the dragon, the mob coming out, and it looks like Avery does manage to pick up. Oh, but Stav goes over the wall, and he's still stuck over here with the Leona and the Gragas, and it looks like another kill should go over to the side of Meta Busters. Deans is here, but Gragas has so much damage.
What can he do?
Looks like
He has
Jacob
ult
is
back
gonna die, and it is Rift. So, oh my
No
gosh,
way!
wait, Jacob gets out with the Rift King. Oh my gosh, Dean's coming over as well. Looks like they're going for it. The root is coming out, and Dean does finally manage to pick it up, almost clean from Jacob there. But what a hype game so far, and it's still the action's still going. The ulti coming out for the side of the Yasuo here does still get CC'd up, and Tucini picks up another kill. The ulti to get Evan back into his team. The Aurora is trying to get this kill. Does go in for the ultimate. Avery has started Beyblading in. Does utilize the Spirit Realm to just juke around, and they're playing so cognizant of the walls that they can't really catch him. Garen is here, does manage to get another ulti off. Avery is so strong now, but no one picks up another kill. Joey getting towers in the bot lane. Oh my gosh, 4-minute back-to-back banger fights, baby. But I still think it's Meta Busters' favorite. They got all the kills, they're getting another tower. Like, they don't care if they keep fist fighting. They've gotten so much, you know?
It is, and that was pretty back and forth. It was close to being really Rift Sharks favored because I thought Dean played the very initial play really well, but just the ultimate by the Aurora did so much damage that he was able to kill him.
He outplayed him, so I'm sorry. Dean got the boots put on him a little bit.
I know,
like the ulti to juke back. He played it well, but I think Aurora played it better.
Didn't have the damage, yeah. And then just...
Ooh, another Q onto the Smolder here, but the Leona ult does come out to bail out the Smolder here. Locky coming out, the Curse of the Sad Mummy coming out from the Amumu, but the Gragas is here, and Nom should just be dead here. Does get ulted back in, does find the Q. Oh, does find one back! Aurora is looking for the Garen on the other side, does manage to juke him out. The Viego is just going to try to auto him to death. Does have to flash, but Viego still picks up the kill. And there's still plays going on in the top side. Fudra is just immortal with this Rod of Ages, has the Frozen Heart, but the Hui is here as well, so it's going to be a lot closer of a fight. The Leona is burning down, and it looks like another kill going over to the Rift Sharks 80 carry here. So definitely still a close game, but they're going to pick up another tier 2 tower for the side of Meta Busters, and I just gotta say they're still favored, by the way. That's crazy. I hope there's a game 3. I'm sorry, Anya, it does not look like there is going to be a game 3. This game is so bloody, but Meta Busters is just hitting every time. They're getting these phenomenal 1-for-2 trades every single time, so
they're just all playing the fights really well. It's just
they are just hands gapping them, in my opinion. Like, these fights are all so close, and they know their champions, they know the mechanics, and they're just playing every single one. Hex Tech Soul is coming out for the side of the Meta Busters here. Aurora is not going to be here for this fight. Does have TP though, actually. Can potentially look. Has the 2-level advantage for the Viego onto the Mumu here. Fujer does TP here. PB whiffs the hook, is in the middle of 5 people. Could be a potential angle for the reset. The ulti coming out. A Mumu ult does come out, and Dean does find an angle onto the Smolder, but the Viego is just sort of autoing him down. Does manage to pick up the reset, and Viego does have 1 reset. It looks like the fight is sort of Rift favored right now, though. Aurora does manage to pick up 2, and it is a 5 for 3 ace for the side of Rift Sharks. They do manage to clutch it up. Good ulti from Dean and PV just to remove the Smolder from the fight. The Smolder has not quite scaled yet, so the game is still playable for the side of Rift Sharks. But
and Noam that was the best play by Noam yet, like this series. That ult was huge. Hit multiple.
Stav coincidentally pinging that he also has 152 Dragon practice stacks. Thank you, Stav, in the game for letting me know. Is at 152
looking
stacks.
for that break point, right? What is that? 250? You said 250?
It's 225.
225.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
if he gets to that, it becomes even harder. But
yeah,
that's what Rift Sharks had to find.
Yeah,
they did it.
The Garen is still quite strong. We do need to highlight that a little bit. I think like is level 15, does have 3 items up, so can potentially 1v9 these fights if they get a good angle onto the backline. Smolder is not quite the backliner you really want at this stage of the game, so like there is still a little bit of game to be played for the side of the Meta Busters. Joey has opted for the Starex Gauge 3rd item. Might be a little more tanky. Fujer is looking for Evan here. Good ulti to just try to hold him still. And Jacob is here as well. Looks like this should be a kill for the side of Metabusters. And the 80 carry for the side of Rift Sharks has gone down. Could be a potential Baron angle for the side of the Metabusters here.
I think it definitely is. There's no poke left on the side of Rift Sharks. They either have to all in you or give you the Baron.
Absolutely. Jacob is just standing over this wall, just trying to buy as much time as possible. Gnome is going to be spotted out by the Leona in the bush. Is going to start fishing for this. Does manage to get hit by the Zenith Blade. Gnome is queued in, but he's also just dead because he queued in. It doesn't matter. If he presses R, it wouldn't matter. He went way too early, had no follow-up. And it looks like we might need to get a PayPal check on his PayPal account because he did just, in fact, sell the game. Does manage to give Metabusters the Baron for free here.
Well, Hui also sold the game, just getting
a little bit. Yeah. That one just looks a little bit better.
If you're just going to go send it like that, you might as well come from behind the pit and just go for the steal instead.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. But looks like Metabusters has regained a little bit of the driver's position that they might have lost on that Dragon fight. We'll have to see how they utilize this Baron to try to close out the game. Definitely a lot of options of which to close out the game with. Smolder just needs
4 items.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to watch out for him. Has opted for the Force of Nature. I do like this optimization. Most of the damage that you're going to see coming out from the side of Metabusters is going to be this Aurora and this Gragas. So buying a tankier AP damage option is super good. Oh my gosh, that Aurora damage is a little illegal, I think. And it looks like
that's crazy.
Metabusters is just looking for some objectives here, trying to get some towers, potentially try to utilize this Baron to close off the gold gap here. Just doing their due diligence, pushing out these waves, looking for picks inside their jungle like they're supposed to.
I do like seeing Avery on a champion like the Garen. It kind of reminds me of a champion like the Tryndamere, where it's just, if he gets to go side lane and farm and get enough gold and get enough items, he's such a problem.
Oh, the ulti coming out from the Aurora, the combo with the Gragas, and it looks like Aurora should just kill the Hui, and looks like Aurora might be able to get out. Dean is looking for it. The Q coming out, and it looks like Dean is going to just get bopped by the Gragas.
You see the angle, but just not quite able to execute it.
Yep, and it looks like Noam is also dead here. Has queued in. Looks like Jacob does have the CC coming out onto Noam here. Should just be a free kill. Does let him queue onto him again, and it looks like he is just going to get CC to death. No combo breaker in this game mode. And it looks like the move does in fact go down. This could be a potential end angle here for the side of the Metabusters here. Having 3 members down.
So discoordinated on the side of Rift Sharks ever after that really long sequence. They're just fighting on their own at this point.
Yeah, looks like the ulti does come out from the Leona here, but Avery does
nice play by Avery.
Does get Gragas ulted back in, and it looks like another 2-for-1 scenario here for the side of the Rift Sharks. And we are kind of seeing what happens when you pick Yasuo without a lot of follow-up on the side of Rift Sharks here. He kind of just hasn't been able to get anything done, really, on the Yasuo. So we'll have to see.
more setup even than follow up. Just
Yeah. Oh
nobody
my
to
gosh,
let
another
him make
ulti.
a
Oh
play.
my gosh, the Aurora damage with the ulti. And it looks like Tusini is
Wrap it
dropping a
up.
nuclear bomb in this game, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
And this could just
I
be
think
the
we know
end
who
of
the
the
MVP
game.
of this game is. If not,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it looks like it is going to be the GG here for the side of the Metabusters. The souls are being picked up. And it looks like a
wow,
2-0 for
2-0
Metabusters. An insane series from them.
against the
What a
#1
play.
team.
God. Crazy series.
Really, really. Uh, the games were pretty stompy, but like you saw good. There were moments for each team, and this was a good matchup, and I'm excited to watch it again.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a phenomenal matchup. I think Metabusters just had like the read on them. Like uh, really able to utilize the Aurora pick. Tusini deservedly MVP that series or that game. Absolutely, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Super good onside on the Aurora here. You saw a lot of good ultimates. He was really knew what to do with this Aurora ultimate. Just able to flick in and out of these fights with the ultimate. And I think it's just a super good last game from him to end it on. Joey on the Viego as well did super well. I am still a hater of this Viego champion. He did do like only 15k damage. This champion's not that good, but definitely utilizing it to get these resets and played it super well in my opinion. So
We kind of called it. We said if his lanes did well, he'd be able to go aggro in those fights, and he did exactly that and cleaned
yep.
them up.
Oh, also,
Look,
I do want to shout out Fuji. He had some
yeah,
phenomenal ultimates that game.
oh, true.
Super good on the Gragas. Super well played to him as well. Definitely a really good showing from the side of Metabusters here.
Yeah. As we look a little bit ahead before we sign off, or I guess we might get an interview, but as we look ahead a little bit, I think it's interesting because now you've had a situation where Andromeda lost to Rift Sharks, but beat Metabusters, and now you have Metabusters beating Rift Sharks, and there's just a lot of like back and forth at the top of the table right now.
The circle of suck
It's a
has
really
been
open season.
completed.
But for Rift Sharks, I don't think they need to change too much. I will say that's another game where Dean is still not repeated a champion, which is pretty neat. But I think what he'll probably do, and which will help Rift Sharks, as they're kind of because they're all picking a lot of champions right now. As the season gets later, they'll kind of narrow in on a smaller handful that they'll start repeating games on, and then they'll really be able to get that synergy on a couple team comps.
Yeah,
And I think the rematch will look a lot closer.
I do think it's really interesting. Gnome has been really fixated on this Amumu. I don't think it really paid off in the way that they wanted it to in this series, so I'm curious to see what the next potential angle is from them. Do you want to do an interview? I kind of like
It's
don't
up to you.
really care.
I
I
don't
think
have
we can
too
just
many
also
great
end it
questions or
here.
anything.
I don't really have any questions for the side of Edobusters. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if Stav is available. We'll grab Stav because he didn't
Yeah,
do
go for
anything
it.
in the series, but I want to talk to him. I don't know. We'll grab him, ask a couple questions, see what happens. We can also
Go
grab
for
Joey,
it.
honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, whoever.
I think they all might have gotten off, though. I don't know.
Oh, that's okay.
I think.
Overall, I think this
Oh,
was.
hello,
Oh, we got.
Stav.
Hello.
How was the series for you so far? How was the series for you, King?
Well, I mean, you know that meme where Dante's is like listening to like music in the jungle, and then it's just like Faker doing crazy shit off to the side. I kind of felt like Dante's that game, that series. I was kind of just in my own world, not
Yeah,
really
yeah. You know that
doing much.
you know that meme where it's like mid is getting 5-man dove
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
the one dude is singing payphone. Was that you?
Yeah, yeah, that was me. I was the guy singing payphone. I was doing I was just sitting around watching my team win the game. But I mean, that was honestly kind of the goal with our drafts,
Yeah.
right? Like I picked some picks that are like late game insurance, like the Kaisa, the Smolder, and
Yep.
just kind of sat back. We figured they would play the Hui a lot if we banned the Nila, and so we're like, okay, well, we can just pick safe laning stuff into the Hui and just let the rest of the team roll. So Jacob
Yeah.
on the Leona did a lot of work running around. I mean, we had a lot of good synergy. Joey, Thomas, obviously doing really well together, and then
Absolutely.
we just tried to set up for as many objectives as we could.
Yeah. Is there any thought behind the Smolder? Like, I was curious to see because they banned it in game one, or they first picked it in
Yeah,
game one, right? What were you? Did you guys have the same prio that they did on the Smolder, or?
Yeah, so our original goal for game one was to R1 the Smolder. We think like that's one of the picks that both Thomas and I both play.
Uh,
And so like depending on how the rest of the game shaked down, like we were perfectly fine with throwing it mid or bot. But the moment like we had like key matchups, like okay, if the Varus is picked mid, we're fine with Smolder into that. If the Hui is picked bot, we're fine into the Smolder with that. So the moment we saw the Hui game two, we're like, okay, we can just throw the Smolder bot lane and it'll just be a snooze fest lane.
yep. Okay.
And just scale.
All right. I was curious about that. Did you guys have any prio on the Varus as well? Because I saw they banned it game one, and I kind of disagreed with that ban, but I want to know your thoughts on the Varus.
Yeah, that was kind of the cook we had with the Malphite pick. Was that we leave Varus up, give them blue side, and wait for them to first pick it. If we then, like, if they run that bot lane, we just have a Malphite that doesn't let him play the video game. If it goes mid, then they are probably going to have to pick Hui bot, and we have a Malphite that doesn't let either of them play the video game. So we were kind of hoping that they would first pick the Varus, but the Smolder kind of did the same job game one, where it was just a scaling, well, not scaling, but just like an immobile marksman.
Yeah. I mean, Dean also just got astronomically fisted by Tusini in that mid game one, but that's a different conversation, is it not? But yeah, super good series from you guys. Definitely. The two, I was not surprised. I was surprised by the 2-0 from you guys, but super clean series. Any closing thoughts that you wanted to drop?
I got one
here?
question. I got one question for you. Just as you were kind of shouting out, you felt like it was a series where you were kind of more just going along with the team. What are your thoughts on your teammates, especially your mid and top and jungle, and then what are your thoughts on y'all's team's chances as far as the season goes?
Yeah. Well, there's a reason we're basically running the same roster as we did last season. I loved playing with all these guys, and I think we're a really strong team. We have really good synergy. So I couldn't be happier with the team I have. And yeah, Jake is calling me a loser. a glazer. But yeah, no, I think we have really strong lanes in all three lanes. Whether it's Corn playing top, Fujer playing top, they just have two very different play styles that I think in the future we might start interchanging them depending on what kind of comps we want to run, depending on the teams we're into. And then like jungle mid, like Joey and Tusini have really good synergy, and then me and Jacob are roommates, so like we're kind of stuck with each other anyways.
There you go.
Yeah, that didn't stop Dean from kicking me from his team, but like that doesn't. I guess that's a different conversation, huh? But yeah, super good series from you guys. Congrats on the 2-0. I was not expecting it, but super well played from you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, we're gonna call it here. Thanks for popping in, everyone. Banger series. Definitely really fun to watch and cast. All right, see you guys
Later.